Segment tonight, President Bush spoke for approximately 13 minutes a little while ago, and it was mostly highlighting his achievements as he sees them. Joining us now from Washington with her reaction, Fox News analyst Laura Ingraham. You know, my question is, I thought the president's speech was good. He's certainly entitled to give it, and should give it, list his accomplishments and what he believed he did for the country. But he should have done it a long time ago, because by not answering his critics, which became louder and louder and more hateful, the critics basically beat him in the public relations battle. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. And, Bill, we're going to say tonight what a lot of the crazies on the other network aren't saying, which was this man is a patriot.
He is.
He's a good man, and he wanted the best for America. However, when your popularity is hovering in the 20s or low 30s for as long as it did, and you and I talked about this, I believe it was back in 2006, that if he did not connect what was happening in the Iraqi streets to Main Street USA, even if the surge worked, which it did, even if we saw this great progress in Iraq, which we did, the people were not going to stand for our presence there, and ultimately that would have hurt his presidency. He needed to have this conversation that he's been having with Larry King and all these other anchors over the last few weeks, Brit Hume. He needed to have that conversation throughout his presidency, but he wanted to stay above the fray. I thought that was a mistake.
I thought
that was a big mistake.
It was frustrating to those of us. You went to Iraq, I went to Iraq. We understood the nobility of the cause, and we absolutely, it is a noble endeavor to remove a tyrant, a murderous tyrant, try to give these people some semblance of control over their own lives, the Iraqi people. Wasn't waged well, wasn't, okay? Mistakes all over the place. But the nobility of the cause was called into question by NBC News, by the New York Times, day in and day out, and you heard nothing from Bush and Cheney. Nothing. That got, look, it's not my job to defend, but it's not my job to defend Bush and Cheney.
No.
Okay? It's not. My job is to bring the American people information and perspective. And I'm sitting there and I'm saying to myself, why the hell are you letting these people over there, because they hate you, that's the only reason they're doing it, let them get away with it without a confrontation? And they did.
Well, again, the polls were not of interest to them. They believed they were above the polls. They didn't want to go there. But, Bill, the key thing here is not only did we stay safe, but they stayed on the offensive against terror. They're going to get credit for that ultimately from historians. It's going to take a long time.
It will, and I write my column, my newspaper column this week on exactly that Al-Qaeda has been very badly damaged, despite the far-left press trying to convince you it hasn't.
Can we talk a little bit about the domestic issues?
I was going to say that. I'm going to say he's not going to be able to get around the economy. President Bush isn't.
No.
And he didn't mention it.
2,000 points. The market is below where he was when he came in.
Right.
Okay, we're back in 1979 land when it comes to defending tax cuts, defending lower regulation. All of this stuff is coming back with a vengeance, and this is after 8 years. God bless him, of President Bush. We're going to have to launch these fights against oppressive government intervention in the markets that we thought we had won in the 80s. So that is not a positive thing to leave for the Republicans to slog through. The Republican Party is
badly damaged. It's badly damaged.
It's extremely damaged.
Let's put all of that aside. And as you open the conversation, I want to close the conversation. President Bush is a patriot. He tried to do his best. He tried to look out for the folks. I absolutely believe that. He is not a venal man. He is not a corrupt man. He is not a dishonest man. All right? I respect that. I wish him well. I'm glad he gave his speech tonight. And the people who will demean him and consistently hate him, they are to be shunned and condemned by the rest of us.
Yeah, they're twisted, and they were saying horrible things about him tonight, Bill. One thing he could do on his way out, pardon Ramos and Compian, commute their sentences. That would be a great way to end.
Okay, those are the U.S. Border Patrol agents.
Border agents.
Who are in jail.
Absolutely.
All right, Laura, always good to see you. Thank you.
Bill.
We come right back.